Yo, it's me, Pops Van Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Uh-huh. So come get some. CromCon. CromCon.
Fairview's coffee has mysteriously gone missing. Mayhem ensues when strange, coffee-craving zombies plague the city. Detective Mickey Potatoes, an overworked public servant, uncovers why ordinary citizens are losing their minds and how to stop the coffee apocalypse. But it involves the mafia. And when you're dealing with mafia crime families, nothing is ever easy. The mafia controls everything in the city, including the police, including him. If he breaks the mafia, they will break him. So, the city is without coffee. The city is burning before his very eyes, but he's powerless. Detective Potatoes has the power to stop the coffee apocalypse, but if he does, he could lose everything.
Path of the Pale Rider anyway? Is it a comic book? No, that's not it. Is it this? What the heck is Path of the Pale Rider, man? There's no way this is right. How about this? I have no idea.
We're gonna rob a bank.
Oh, it's this.
The Madness Comic Network and Comic Related Madness proudly presents Madness Tuesday Morning Brew. Tune in to our content on Comic Talk with Pops Van Zant on YouTube.
Well, good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday. It is June the 6th, and I am actually not here. I am in Michigan, just having gone to my brother's wedding. So this, my friends, is a pre-recorded episode, just so you know. So when you watch it and you try to send me something and I don't react, it's because I'm not actually here. So good times, though. I'm really excited for the things that are coming up. June is going to be busy. We're marching along on that comic book. Marco is just like turning in pages so quickly. It's going to be done before we know it. Marta kicking butt, taking names. You guys, I'm sure, have been seeing the art that's being turned in, and it's amazing. Of course, I can't show you everything because no spoilers, right? Last week, which is actually next week, where I am right now, I'm getting confused with the time frame. We are going to be doing the Slice and Dice. So when you're watching this, that was last week. I hope we had a good time. It's nothing like some wholesome fruit destruction for some entertainment. So I'm looking forward to that. Or if you're watching, you enjoyed that. We're going to stop talking about the time thing because it's getting confusing. Today, though, I have two special guests that are going to be on. And I'm really excited because they're newer like myself, but their project is, I'll let you see it for yourself. It's called Rogue the American Dream. And I have both I'm going to edit this out. 8 minutes and 12 seconds. So with me today, I have David Tomassi and Kittykus, who are part of the creative team for Rogue the American Dream. And it looks like it's a female with some, almost looks like Wolverine claws. It's not Wolverine, but she looks like she's going to kick ass and take some names. So without further ado, let me start bringing in some guests. Here they are. Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Good morning. How are you? Thank you very much.
Kittykus,
good afternoon, I guess.
I know. Well,
yeah.
Kittykus is over across the pond, so
I'm in Europe. Yeah.
So I was gonna say he's been awake for quite a while. It's quite early where I'm at. Dave, you're in Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you and I are.
It's
close.
9, so it's like 3 cups of coffee still away from being awake.
I'm right there with you. Like, where's my coffee?
Yeah.
And I'm not a morning person anyway. There's been times I've come on the show like, hello, people. I need some more coffee.
Yeah,
we're going to have
hi,
fun.
everybody. Yeah. My
I
fiance
definitely can relate to that.
My fiance is the same way. She's like, "Oh, good morning, my coffee." Then
right.
Then
Don't talk to me yet. I have not had my coffee.
Yeah.
A minute. I know. Even my kids are like, Mom, and I'm like, coffee. Like, I love you. I just can't say it right now. I got stuff to do.
No talking.
Right. No talking. So guys, you are the creative team for a really big project. But before you started this, let's talk about each of you and how you got started and why comics. So David, you're the writer creator, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So have you written other things? Were you always writing comics? Did you come from like screenplay or something else?
No, never wrote a comic book before. Never did a comic book before. Always wanted to do one. It was always like my childhood dream to always one day do it. And I haven't drawn in probably like close to about 20 to 30 years. So I knew that drawing one was not an option. And after seeing so many indie books and first-time creators and people like yourself putting out books and just doing it, it really was an inspiration to just be like, screw it, I'm going to do it.
Right.
I'm doing it. And I started twitting and trying to talk to people. I'm like, I want to do a comic. How do I do this?
Right.
I'm like,
that's like
no clue.
First hurdle. Like, I would like to really much do this thing. I have no idea how to do this thing. Who else has done this thing so I can ask you a million questions, right? Because really that's what it is.
And I just started, and I got a lot of advice from a lot of first-time creators, people who are on their first or second book. And then I met a guy by the name of Elon Mudd on Twitter, who who I finally convinced after like 4 months to be my editor. Only took him 4 months to finally, like, after editing my story and helping me write it, I was like, dude, be my editor. He's like, nah, I don't want to be an editor. I'm like, you kind of are right now, so just be my editor. He's like,
right.
All right, fine, I'll be an editor. I'm like, okay.
That's funny. You're like, do I have to like throw dollars at? I did do the same thing. Like, I already had someone that was like already invested in the project. And then I was like, can I just put your name as editor? And she was like, well, then it makes it official. Oh, I think Dave froze. Kittykus, are you with us?
Of course I am. I just don't want to risk multiple people talking at once.
Right.
That's a big risk. So yeah, good question. I'm very bad at talking
Dave,
about
we
my
can't hear you at all.
You can't hear me?
No, David. Kittykus, is your name also David?
No, it's not. My real name is. I'm just I don't know. I think my headphones are not that good. Anyway, for you to not have to cut out so much, yeah, I am a sort of quote unquote professional artist, more or less. At least I'm working towards that. I live in Central Europe. I started drawing consistently around 2.5 years ago. And I usually just do like normal stuff, character models, things like that. Although I did have the intent to actually draw a comic at some point, but way in the future, like way off in the future. But then at the end of last summer, like Dave texted me, "Hey, like, do you wanna be like the main artist for my comic?"
Hold on, Dave.
Sorry.
Are you? Oh, you're back. You're back. You're good.
And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Let's do it.
Oh, how I met you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just literally started messaging artists, people who do commission work, who I like their artwork, and I was like, hey, do you want to do a comic? They're like, nah. I'm like, okay. And I messaged Kitty, and I'm like, hey, I really like your artwork. Do you want to do a comic together? He's like, I've never done one before. Either have I. He's like, yeah, why not?
Right. I mean, I think when I actually started my comic in 2020, and I had 2 different artists involved than I currently do. And it's like things, sometimes they don't work out with the original people. And like, I asked a lot of people too, or, I put out feelers, and ultimately those guys, they're super nice guys. I'm still in contact with both of them, and they do commission work for me. But neither one of them ended up being the main artist. So sometimes it's like when you're trying to find those people initially, they're not the right people for your project. And I don't know, things happen for a reason sometimes, in my opinion, where it's like, okay, maybe Kitty was the best one, so those other ones had to say no, so that way Kitty could be attached.
Oh yeah, I mean, I love his work. I honestly love his work. It was awesome. I mean, he really. And what was really cool is that we got each other. Like, we started clicking like right from the get-go of things that we liked, styles that we liked, everything. We just clicked like right away. It was really
Yeah, I think
awesome.
it mostly works because we're just two dudes who
What?
yeah, we're just two dudes who are like doing a comic. Because whenever I tell people in my private life about what I'm doing, they ask me like about publishers or anything. I was like, no, it's just two dudes, and we're making a comic together because we wanna.
Okay.
Yeah,
Not the connection up here.
yeah, I know. You're on your cell phone. Maybe you could move to a different location. I don't know. That might help.
I don't get technology.
Anyway, so when you guys got together, Dave, you had already finished your script, correct?
I had a very, very first draft written, and I sent it to Kitty. I emailed it to him. I says, this is pretty much, this is really, really rough draft. It wasn't even comic book form. It was just a regular story because I had no idea how to even write in comic book form.
Yeah.
So it was just a regular story. And he read it over and he was like, yeah, it sounds pretty cool. I was like, is this something you could get into? Is this something you could have fun with? And he was like, yeah, most definitely. I'm like, okay, I think, oh God, how many versions did I go through? Oh God.
I think 7 or 8.
7 or 8 versions. Oh yeah.
I'm only laughing because we all are the same. Where it's like, this is the final version. Just kidding. I'm gonna add this. Just kidding. I had to take that out. You know what I mean? Where it's
I was doing that to him nonstop. I would be like, okay, this is the last version. We're all set now.
Never say it's the last version.
And then like 2 days later, it was, no, here's an updated version. I changed this whole page around and I added this.
Right.
So this is the new version. He was
I
just like,
put in last edited and then I put the date.
And finally,
also because when you
just message me when you're done.
Right. As long as you're not changing stuff he's actively drawing, then it's okay.
Oh yeah, I told him that in advance. So as soon as I'm starting drawings, we're not going to change anything. It was the same with the character. It was the same with the designs. I said, okay, in advance, before we start the pages, we can change anything. I don't care. But if you come to me in hindsight, so no, not gonna do that.
Let me ask you this, guys. So Dave, when you wrote it, it's very much just like a story on like a Word doc, correct?
Correct.
Now, I write in screenplay method format, and then comic book format is like page 1, panel 1, with descriptions and everything.
Yes.
That will lay out like where the people are and then has all the dialogue. So do you guys meet and talk about the page and how it's going to be laid out, or does Kitty just do all that?
Yes, we did do that because he sent me his, let's call it a treatment, because that's probably the closest thing to it. And there were pages with like 8 or 10 panels and like a huge amount of text. And I was immediately like, dude, I cannot fit that on one page, never. Because I think the first draft had something 80 something pages, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the first draft had 80, and then.
Yep, there goes Dave.
There goes Dave. Yeah, the first draft had 80 pages, and when he sent that to me, of course I read through it, and he was very lucky to have chosen me because I actually have a background in script writing, because I studied theater studies and film studies and also worked at the theater for a while, and I have friends who are in the industry. So I read it and was like, okay, no, this is gotta change. We have to switch this and this around in order for it to flow better, and so on and so forth. So that's why there were that many different drafts, because whenever you write a script, you cannot allow yourself to go with the first draft. That's never a good idea.
Well, I mean, it's always good to like get it out on paper and then go back and refine it and then look for like loopholes, or there's always stuff that you can improve. And I find, because I write in screenplay, right? So again, there's no panels, there's no pages. My artist does all that himself. Him and I talk about like where the pages will turn and like kind of what's important to the script. But when he does a page, he'll thumbnail all the panels, and I find it's best for me if I get out of the way, because he does it so well. And I'm not an artist in sequential art, right? So who am I to tell him, who's actually has a degree in that, how he should be paneling the page? He's the expert. I get out of the way, right?
Yeah, no,
But,
I mean, I was very, very respectful of Kitty, and like he said, I sent him the first page layout, and it was like, you know.
Is he gone again?
He froze.
This is going to be a pain. I mean, I think he. Yeah, he's gone.
You're back.
Jesus.
I'm back.
Yes.
You missed what you said when you first got art.
Yeah, like he was saying before, you know, I sent him the comic draft version of it, and it was like, you know, I had like 8 panels on a page, like 3 paragraphs of dialogue, and he was like, no.
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's hard, especially the dialogue. And I found out what works best for my team is that I letter the comic. So I had to learn lettering, because I know the script so well, and I know what's important for the people to say. So if there isn't enough room, it makes sense for me to be the one to say, okay, I'm going to change the dialogue. It's going to say the same thing. I'm just going to change out the words so that it fits better.
Yeah. The best advice I got from Elon, and from a lot of people, was just less is more.
Right.
Like, less is more, man. You don't need 15 paragraphs of them explaining something. Get to the point.
Oh yeah, there were pages where we cut like 2/3 of the dialogue.
Well, and I mean,
like
you're in a visual medium, so you don't need to explain. Like if someone was just reading the book, you'd have to put all that in there, because again, they're creating the image in their head. But Kitty's putting the image on the page for you. Yeah. So it does 90% of it because people can see it. So then you're just filling in the 10% of whatever the background is, you know?
Yeah. I mean, and we did a lot of, we did full read-throughs of.
Did you?
Oh yeah.
Like a table read?
Yeah, we
yep, multiple times.
Times. We did a full read-through of the first script, and then when we had it in full comic book form, we did another phone call, and we did a whole read-through of the script, and he took notes, I took notes of like stuff we had to change, or, you know, wording differently.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was a lot of fun. Plus I had my my fiance do the read through, and she did all the voices, so it was fun.
I want to be there for that. Like, who can I pay to read my comic book out loud? That would be awesome.
She did all the voices, and we were sitting there like a bedtime story listening.
That could be like a TikTok that you could totally split that up and just like have an intro and an outro and have her read for like a minute. That would be awesome.
Well, I actually have I actually had someone do a promo video for me, and I had her do the voice for it.
Cool. That's cool.
Yeah, she's been involved in it too. She's helped me out a lot. You know, and you know, definitely inspired me to do it too, and kept me going on it. And when I first asked her, I was like, hey, I want to do a comic book. I don't know how much I'm going to spend, and I don't know if I'm going to make any money on it, but
you won't.
Yeah. And she was like, you want to do it? I'm like, yeah. She's like, go ahead.
And it's more about getting the story out there when you're at our level, right? Let's be honest, you know, because
oh yeah, definitely.
People don't realize the amount of work that it takes, you know, to produce.
No, I mean, we've been doing this now for what, almost a year?
Yeah, and
I think you contacted me in late August, early September, or something like that.
Yeah, so I mean, it's been a year project for us so far.
Wow.
But I am very, very impressed of where we are within a year already. Like everybody who has done work for me really has put in the dedication and really just been busting their asses off. And what's really cool is that I found a team of people, and everybody worked so well together. You know, everybody knew, like, you know, I did a cover. I'm going to email it to your colorist. Then I'll email it to you. Like everybody knew just after like the first couple times of who to send it to and who to communicate with. So it was really, really great that everybody just worked so well together.
That's nice. That is nice, because then it's less about managing the people and more about managing the project itself.
Yeah.
So it adds a whole nother level of headache when it's like, where is so and so? You know, they didn't send me the thing. Yep. Now everybody's behind. You know.
Yeah, no, it's definitely been awesome how well everybody has worked together, and I've gotten so many commission works from people for perks, and a lot of people also just emailing me or messaging me who have seen the work on Twitter and were like, you know, I really love the character. It's so cool. Can I do a piece for you? I'm like, okay. Yeah. I'm like,
that's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, Dave, but for me as a writer, when I see someone else interpret my characters, it just gives me so much joy. I love seeing people. Everybody wants to draw the undead bear.
Frozen again.
Go for it. I want to see it, right?
Oh, maybe I'll give it a shot.
Oh, heck yeah. Big James the undead bear. He's a badass. So feel free to give him a shot.
Once I'm done with this, because
you're like,
it is
maybe not right now, Laurie.
I'm gonna be honest. This is filling my schedule pretty good right now.
No, I totally get it. Like my artist not only does Path of the Pale Rider, he's a full-time artist on another book. So I know that writer as well. So he and I try to space our crowdfunding. So that way we're not producing art at the same time and overwhelming poor Marco. And then he has a third book that he does that through a different publisher. So it's like, and that one's just kind of a wild card. They're just like, hey, we're ready. And he's just like, damn it.
I think I'll stick with one for now.
It's enough, right? So
it's enough for the first time. It's enough, yeah.
Right. And it gets to a point where you get to say no to things, and that's actually really cool. As an artist, you know, where it's like you're always hungry, you're always looking for work, but when you have someone that's giving you consistent work, it's nice to be like, hey, you know, I'm busy. My calendar is full. I don't need to be out there hustling.
Oh Jesus! I had so many people ask me in the past month just for regular commissions, not like whole projects in comic book form, just pictures, just models. I was like, I can't. Sorry, I'm busy.
Right. I mean, the opportunity to say no is great. But you're going to find that while you're Kickstartering and while you're doing all your crowdfunding, people are going to be knocking down your door for stuff. You watch, because
I'm looking forward to that.
All over the place. You guys are going to be on shows and podcasting, and people are going to be looking at your art, and they're going to want commissions. So you're going to find you're going to get a lot of attention.
That would be nice. It is about time for that.
He's like, yes, please. I'll take some of that.
Look at my art, people. It's all I do all day, mostly.
Yeah. Well, Kitty, how are you promoting your art? Do you have an Instagram? Do you have a TikTok?
Okay, I wouldn't use the word promotion, to be honest.
Why?
I mean, technically it is promotion, but okay. You see, I started doing all of this around pretty much exactly 2 years ago. That was the first time I made. That was the time I made my first Instagram account.
Okay.
And due to various experiences with Instagram and Twitter, right now I'm keeping a very healthy distance from social media in general. That's why I always feel guilty when I feel like maybe I should help Dave a bit with the promotion. But then I'm not really that enthusiastic about opening that, even though I should, even though I really fucking should.
Well, but, I mean, as an artist, I from what I have seen, two of the platforms are better than the other ones. And the ones that I see artists have success on is Instagram and TikTok. Instagram, because you can post all sorts of pictures, and it's very much visual on Instagram. It's much less about what you're putting in the message. Nobody cares about the description, right? And then TikTok, you can do time lapse. So you can record yourself creating, and people love those. So that's a great way to get followers and drive them to the project just by creating the project. So that's a great way I found. Marco has huge views on Instagram, ridiculous views on Instagram. And I post the same dang video on my Instagram and I get like 200 views and he gets like 4,000. And I'm like, what is the difference?
I do have an Instagram and I do have a Twitter and I post my art there from every now and then, but not really currently at least with the aim of promoting anything. It's just like, I drew something cool, or hey, here are some new panels that I want to just share with people.
It always has to be here in the forefront of your brain, promotion. Even if it's just
right now, the forefront of my brain is getting done by July 26th.
Which should also be on the other side. This side. This side is promotion and this side is deadline.
Well, I always tell him, I'm just like, listen, you draw, I'll take care of the rest.
That's what I do too. Like I handle all the marketing and social media accounts and And Marco just does his thing. I could talk anybody's ear off. I'm good at it. So I'd rather be the one doing the promotion. So I work when we're crowdfunding and Marco works when we're done crowdfunding. So we have different times of, when we're active. So right now is his active part. So he's doing all the creation and I'm like ordering stickers. Making hot sauce, right?
Well, it's like it's like when I message him in the morning and I'm like, hey, good morning, man. I'm like, what are you doing today? He's like, what do you think I'm doing today?
I'm doing your art, damn it.
Yes.
So I was making some hot sauce for my campaign. It was one of our rewards. And I'm gonna have to take you can see my actual room here. I'll do the backdrop because I can never put stuff up with the backdrop on because it just eats it. So here's my kids' room where I sit, which is hilarious. And look, I made these real cool
that is
containers for the hot sauce. I still have to do the lid, but
nice.
I'm gonna paint them and they got like a little scully on them.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, don't give me ideas.
Oh, I'm so full of ideas. Like I was just making stickers and I have Cricut, so I'm making vinyl, like permanent vinyls.
It's amazing. Like I asked on Twitter a lot. I'm like, hey, what does everybody like for perks or extra add-ons? And I always figured everybody would want like 6x9 prints and stuff like that. And the number one response was stickers. Everybody was like, "Oh, I want stickers."
People love stickers, yeah.
And I'm like,
people want keychains and poker chips and bookmarks. I want other stuff. Me personally, like I like prints because it's art that I can have. But I make crazy things. Like I make cosplay items and I make Funko Pops and I make what else? What did I do last one? I have secret rewards that are like bottles of bones and handcrafted boxes. And like, I'm crazy. I do crazy stuff. But I think that's what people is that I think outside the box and I'm always pushing the envelope. So people aren't getting the same bookmark every time. I just ordered poker cards. We're building a poker card whole deck of custom designed cards, which will be a lot of fun. So every campaign will release new ones. Yeah. So everybody got the King of Hearts with my main character on it this time. So I just ordered those. They should be to me in about 9 days. I'm excited. I'll share those on social media.
Oh, Dave, you thought about having someone print a figurine for us, right?
Oh, he left. He was like, no, I don't want to talk about it. No, he's poor Dave. Oh, as soon as he comes back, because comic. Because they don't have good connection when he comes back and it won't die out in the middle of the pitch. This is what happens. It's just, technology.
It's a fun thing.
We were talking crap about you while you weren't here.
Yeah, I'm used to that in my life. Don't worry about it.
Just kidding. But now that you're back and you have good connection, this is a perfect time. I would love for you to pitch to everybody Rogue, the American Dream. So what is the story give us the elevator pitch.
Well, let's see. Well, growing up, my two favorite movies as a kid growing up was Escape from New York and Escape from LA. I love those movies. I've grown up on every 80s and 90s action movie that there was. There was nothing cooler than Call Me Snake. There was nothing cooler and more badass than that.
Yeah.
And my story is heavily influenced by both of those movies and a little bit of Mad Max.
Yes. Mad Max in the house.
Oh, yeah. America has fallen after the Second Civil War. A new regime has taken over and seized power called the New American Order, the New American Way. And there's a threat of another war breaking out, and Rogue.
Darn it. I was hoping it was gonna make it through.
Sorry. Yeah.
That's okay. The last thing we heard is Rogue. Rogue is what?
Ugh. I'm like right near my internet.
You and your internet. Dave, are you still there?
He's glitching.
Oh my god.
Now we can't hear you.
Well, basically, I have to pitch it.
Start out where he left off. Rogue is.
Yeah. Rogue is basically some sort of let's call her a lone gunslinger. She has a bit of a backstory that will be hinted at in the story itself.
Okay.
Dave, you're back. You can continue.
Nope.
Oh my god. The problem is when I pitch it, I don't know how much I should give away.
Oh no! Don't spoil anything.
She's basically just in this setting. She's just a lone wolf, not necessarily gun for hire, but mercenary kind of person.
All right, I'm back. Sorry, everybody.
All right, pick up.
Who turned her? Oh yeah. You pick up.
All right, yeah. So America has fallen after the Second Civil War. I used a lot of what's the word I want to use now? I can't think. I used a little bit of modernism in it too, like the problems this country is facing today.
I'm gonna make a comment when you're done. Go ahead.
So, America has fallen after the Second Civil War, and new regime has seized power and taken control. And with the threat of another war looming over, Rogue is the only chance of stopping the war. But does she even care anymore? And she herself has lost her way, lost her care for the world and its people that live in it, and just does not care. She does not care anymore. America's been ravaged by nuclear war, and everybody has been gathered into big cities that are only the remaining parts of it. And anybody who's found undesirable to live in the new America has been banished to the wastelands of the forgotten world.
Yeah, I could totally see Mad Max there.
Yeah. And all my covers, as you can see, all my covers are homage covers. Every one of them is a homage cover from the time frame that I grew up in, of just covers that meant the world to me, or just groundbreaking, and just were awesome. That I can't believe I actually got. That is by Tim Vigil.
I laughed so hard. I was like, damn.
I couldn't believe I got him to do a cover for me. Yeah, and he doesn't do social media. If you look at his Twitter account, the last time he posted something was like 7 years ago.
Oh my Lord. In this one. Nice. I was gonna say, Oh, did he freeze again?
He did.
I was going to say, I didn't
Anybody hear
realize
me?
that he was writing historical fiction, or
Anybody can hear me?
I can hear you.
No one can hear me.
Dave,
All
we
right,
can
be
hear
back
you.
again.
It's just your screen is frozen. Look at this one. She is so
That
muscular,
is-
man. She's cut.
Oh yeah, that's like a side effect of my art style. Because when I started learning anatomy, especially when it comes to muscle anatomy, I was like,
Yeah.
okay, how do I learn the quickest? I could just exaggerate everything. Okay, and so I did. So on my first Instagram account, I kind of got established as the muscle guy, and it was also just fun drawing the people like that.
I would
And
really
so
like
when-
some muscles like that, please. That would be great.
Yeah,
And
that,
so when I designed her character, that basically became a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that cover I got by Zim, who's doing the Natverse.
Oh yeah.
I love his artwork. I bought his first couple books, and I messaged him, and I'm like, "Will you do a commission cover for me?" He's like, "Sure." And I sent him a whole bunch of covers that I liked, and I says, "Pick which one you want. Pick any one you want. You know, it's your call. You're the artist. You do what you want."
So those are some of the covers. I'm gonna put up the interior pages too, so people can take a look and see, what Rogue looks like.
Pick some of the cool ones. They're all cool.
Yeah, I usually scroll pretty quick because I don't want people to be able to like get spoilers or anything. So I just basically like scroll pretty quick when like this is going to be so exciting in color. I can't wait to see that.
Well, actually, it's gonna stay in black and white.
Oh, it is even more exciting. Hooray!
I love black and white books.
I do too, man.
I think that it shows way more of the artist's detail and just shading and everything, and plus it's cheaper.
Well, yeah, I mean that helps, especially when you're trying to accomplish, printing a book for the first time and it's 120 pages. Holy moly!
Yeah, like I said, the funny thing was when I first started reading it, I'm like, I'm going to write 60 pages, and then it was okay. I'm going to write 80 pages. All right, I'm going to keep it at 90. And then finally, when I messaged him, I'm like, yeah, the book's at 120 pages, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's a good amount of pages for like a graphic novel, trade paperback. 100 to 120 is really where you want to be.
Yeah.
So you're right in there, and that's perfect.
Yeah.
So I love the dots. What do they call that, Kitty? The tone dots.
Yeah, I love that. I love it so much.
What's it called, Kitty? There's a name for it.
I only know the German one, which is Raster.
Okay. I learned something new today.
Yeah, I'm Austrian, so that's why I sound like Arnie when I talk.
That's cool. I like it, and that's why you draw everybody like Arnie. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I have way more. I have way more experience, or let's say I'm way more familiar with manga than I'm with Western comics.
I was going to say that this very much looks manga style, like anime musculature.
Yeah, so my style is definitely more in that direction.
Yeah. You know what though? I'm seeing a ton of artists that were drawing Western type comics now go to manga style. Because manga is so wildly successful right now. So it's kind of been a trend. And I mean, if you're doing this from the jump, kudos to you, because a lot more people are going to find it because people love manga more than they love comics right now.
I mean, they are way more exciting,
aren't they?
I mean, I think at least for me, when you read a manga, even if it's something that lasts really long, like let's go with One Piece, it's still like one comic, it's one story. If you want to be really into Western comics and want to follow a storyline, you have to read, I don't know, 10 different series just to keep up with what's happening.
You're
Well,
telling
then
me.
they reboot the characters so often, where they get bored or they end a storyline and then they start. They just revamp the entire character.
Yes,
You know,
and I
like-
read Western comics for a while, like 10 years ago, but
Yeah.
that aspect basically got me back out of it because there was this event in DC, and I wanted to read that, but then there was one page where it was like, oh yeah, do you remember when this happened? And then on the bottom right corner it said, to read what's happened, buy issues, Superman issues, so and so. And I'm like, no.
What?
Oh, welcome to our nightmare.
Right.
Yeah. So that's why I'm way more into manga than I am into Western comics.
Yeah, I mean, like during the 90s, I mean, it was 5-issue series. Here's the story. Here it is. You need.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like once the arc is over, then you're done. And then it's like, now what? I mean, look, it's still going on. They just revamped Daredevil. That's one of the, I was talking with one of my buddies, Johnny, who's a comic book store owner. And he said Daredevil is so hot right now because it's not even Daredevil. It's Elektra dressed up as Daredevil.
Oh, Jesus.
You see what I mean? So it's just like, it's not even the same characters anymore. So it's like, can't we? But I've been told this too by publishers. Like, if you're going to write anything more than a 6-comic arc, we don't want it. You believe that?
Yeah, because it just gets confusing for some customers.
Well,
or some people like me straight up don't want to follow that.
Right.
So.
My story is not that. My story is when I originally wrote the script was a full-length movie that I broke up into issues to be comics, right? So my first kind of arc is 13 issues, but it's all one cohesive story. And there's another 12 issues for the second arc and another 12 issues for the third arc. And then it's over. You know what I mean? And then we'll start another story. I'm already writing other stories. Like I'm writing on Psycho Cell, and there's another project I just got picked up with another artist in the UK. So I have other stuff that I'm writing. So I will give all the love to Path of the Pale Rider to get us to the end of the story, and then we're done.
Nice.
Right?
That's definitely a good approach, yeah.
But it's going to be 36 issues. So it's got a long way to go. But I think that the manga type approach where it's one story for a long time appeals to me too. You know what I mean? Instead of the four issues and then we're done.
Yeah. I mean, when I was writing the script, I had originally was going to break it up into like 3 issues. And then as I was writing it, I was like, you know, this might be my only book because this might not make it, might not do well. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to make it one long book.
The fact that you have already produced 50% of the book and that by the time it goes live, it will be 90% complete is a win of itself.
Yeah.
Just making the book, right?
Well, and then
you'll have all the time in the world, Dave, to go meet new comic book stores and be like, hey, have you seen my comic book?
Yeah, I would love to be able to do that. I honestly would. I mean, I've seen a lot of other creators do, you know, conventions and selling their books there. And I'm like, wow. I'm like,
well, typically that's what, you know, you're going to want to do is I have like a 3-prong sales tactic. So I have my website. Of course, there's the Kickstarter, the crowdfunding, where that's where my main fandom is. But then I go to comic book stores. I try to set up a table to do author signings or book signings. You know, so I'll be in LCSs and then I'll also do cons, but you want to do local cons and cons with like free tables, stuff like that in the beginning until you start having more things on your table. Because if you're going to have a table and you're going to spend $200 to sit there and you got one book.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like I said, if this book, if I make back my money, what I spent on this book, I'm taking that money and using it to already prepay for book 2.
Yes.
That's my goal, is to make enough money back so I can at least start book 2. and that's what I really would love. I mean, and I've already been talking with Kitty about it. I'm like, so here's an idea for book 2. He's like, will you let me finish book 1, please?
Kitty's like, I can't even give that headspace yet. You know what I mean?
It's like, could you just let me work on book 1
Dave,
before you start
what you
telling
need to
me
do is
stuff?
find a writer like myself.
I am a we cross that bridge when we get there kind of guy. So
most artists don't want to be bogged down with you creating the story. Like, Dave, you and I can be friends, okay?
Right.
Like, I do this with my writer friends too, where I'm like, hey, I'm thinking about, and one of my writer friends is also a science nerd, Allison McClone, one of my besties. And so when I'm doing something technical science-wise, I call her up and I'm just like, hey, I'm thinking about having a nuclear explosion at some point. How would I do that? Right? Because she can walk me through what's plausible. So I can take some artistic liberties, but it's like, at least she gives me the breakdown of like, this wouldn't work, or you know what I mean? Like, so I can make it sound at least semi-plausible. Right?
Oh, there were many parts of the story where I was writing them and Kitty would point them out. He's like, dude, like, where'd the gun come from? I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you where that came from. I'm like, oh yeah,
right.
Magically appeared. I'll figure it out later.
Right. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, there was also a page where he was like, have her give them the finger, and then it's like, okay, yeah, I can do that. But then I drew the page and was like, wait, dude, I cannot draw her giving them the finger because she's tied up.
Oh.
And the panel you have up right now,
yeah.
Kitty hated me so much for that day.
The Marriott, look at it, it's beautiful. Did you draw this?
I mean, I traced it, but yeah, I did draw this.
But when I was looking, because it's a real hotel in New York City, so when I was like, well, I want a real hotel, something big and fancy. So all I did was Google best hotel in New York City, and the Marriott came up. And I was like, okay, that's the hotel I'll use. I never looked at it. I never looked to see what it looked like. And then when he started drawing that page, he's like, did you even look at the hotel? I'm like, nah, I just Googled the name, dude. I don't look at this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like,
do you know what Madison Square Garden looks like? Because in about 2 or 3 pages, I'm going to have to draw Madison Square Garden.
Oh, my God.
I was like, no, dude, I didn't look at that stuff. I just Googled it.
You're like, that's your job, artist friend.
And then then he would start drawing. I'm like, he'd be like, oh, all this shading I have to do. I'm like, don't get mad at me. You drew it.
I mean, he sends me whenever I send him a panel. Oh yeah, these are not yet done.
Yeah, I know they're not done, but it's cool. It's cool just to see the process for me, like how you're laying out perspective, or like things.
Whenever he sends me, there should be some right below those.
Yeah,
a few more.
Look at that.
When there's lots of background, and he's like, he sends me memes with like, why do you draw all the backgrounds? I'm like, do you want a boring comic or do you want
there's a meme that's from somebody made that was from
this one. Kitty?
This one, page? Yeah. For example, yes.
I love it.
See, she gets it. And whenever I show him pages like this, he sends me this meme from some American show. Oh yeah, exactly. Where they're like, what does it say? So I want to draw the background, and the old guy is, no one will notice, and so I'll notice.
Throwing the chair.
I notice.
He's like, I'll notice. I'm like, always remember this.
I know.
And then I told him
a lot of time. That's the thing. It does. But it's like when you do these pages, they're just so amazing with all the detail. It really sucks people into the story. It's really immersive, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And when he complained about it the first time, I told him, we're not doing some Rob Liefeld shit here. I'm not skipping anything.
I use that as a strong reference for him. I'm like, you don't have to draw that much of a background. I'm like, look at Rob Liefeld. He did it for years and he gets away with it.
Yeah.
Just
No,
cross weekly lines. It works.
Ooh.
like in all honesty, I know about white space and when it's appropriate to use it, but it for me it's also an image thing. You know, this is my first comic, and I don't want to leave the impression
I
that
was
I'm like
always joke with him. I was
skipping
like,
parts just because they're hard or take long.
Right.
Like,
This is
no,
your
I
time
want to
to
make that
shine.
effort.
Right. This is your time to shine. This is when people are really going to be looking. These first issues are the collector ones too. So whenever, you know, they go out, from my experience, and Dave, don't be disheartened by this, the first book will do better than the second book.
That's what everybody has told me.
Mhm.
Of every creator, they're like, you know, don't expect big numbers on your first book. Your first book is just to get it out. You'll make your money back usually on your second book. And I've seen every artist do it. I've seen artists who put out books and they'll do a little bit of money, and then by like their second or third book, they're pulling in huge numbers. I was like, yeah, I know that's how it's gonna go.
Right. The third one for me is where I started to see a big improvement. So the first book, I actually had more numbers on my first book than I did my second one, because here's what happens. People will come out and support you in droves because it's new and they're excited for you, and congratulations on your new venture. And then the second book comes around, they're like, I already gave last time.
Yeah.
They're like, are we doing this? How often are we doing this? Because I already gave last time. You know what I mean? So I had a bunch of people that didn't come back that I thought were going to. You know, I was like, oh, these are my friends and family that's supporting me. They'll be here every time. And they were not, you know. And so it's so important to build that audience, because my biggest fans are not my friends and family. My biggest fans, I had to find them, because that it's like that weird niche, you know what I mean, where people are like really into the same stuff as you, probably are not in your family and friends.
No, I post. I usually post about 2 to 3 times a day, dropping artwork or
2 to 3 times a day. Wow.
Yeah. And also when other artists or commissioned artists do like art shares, I'm always dropping Kitty's artwork or covers. One person even called me out on it, because I'd be like, oh, look at this artwork by Kitty and so and so and so and so. I'm like, of Row coming out, you know, June 26th. And one person called me out. They're like, yeah, nice promo you snuck in my feed. I'm like, sorry.
Well, that's gonna be where you live for the next forever.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, sorry, man. He's like, but good artwork. I'm like, thanks.
Right. So what's the plan for this book?
What do you mean, like plan? Like,
so what's the next
is there a plan?
Kitty is drawing this, right? But let's talk about like crowdfunding and production and all of that. So when can people like sign up to be notified? And then when are you launching?
Email sign up will be available by June 4th on all 3 platforms, Indiegogo, Kickstarter, and Fund My Comics.
Wow. So let's talk about this, because I've never seen anybody do this before, Dave.
Yeah. Well, I've become quite good friends with a lot of other creators. And I'm been open-minded to everything, because this is my first time ever doing this. And I was asking them, I'm like, you know, which platform is the best to use? I'm like, I've heard bad things about Indiegogo. Kickstarter seems to do really good. I was like, Fund My Comics is just starting up. I was like, you know, is Zillow good? Is Crowdfunder good? Which one's the best?
Zoop.
Zoop, yeah, that was the one.
I was like, you selling your house?
And I had one creator tell me, he's like, run it on multiple platforms. He goes, that's your best bet. I was like, should I run them all together? I was like, or run each one separately? And he was like, well, if you run them separately, then you're going to have to place 3 different orders. And, you know, people who buy from one campaign won't buy maybe from the second campaign unless you have something new and different to add to it. So I got the brilliant idea to run all 3 campaigns. And each campaign has their own exclusive perks. And each campaign also has exclusive covers for those campaigns only. And then if you back from 2 or more of the campaigns, you can message me on Twitter, or you can message me through those platforms, and I will refund 1 or 2 of the shipping costs for you.
Well, part of the shipping, because obviously they're adding more product, the shipping will go up.
Yeah.
So don't short them all the shipping, or
Well,
send them back all the shipping, because
changed-
it's like then you'd be out of pocket.
I changed the shipping costs on each platform for the different amounts of bundles, because I have about five or 6 different bundles that you can buy, of combination of books. If you buy every cover from one of the platforms, you'll be getting you'll get a free She-Hulk homage cover for absolutely free.
That's cool.
So that was really cool. And then if you buy from all 3 platforms, I don't have the image yet, but the artist who did the book, Liz Ray, on Kickstarter, he's going to be doing a Wizard 1 homage cover for me. And if you buy from all 3 platforms, you'll get that for absolutely free. Cool.
That's really neat.
Yeah. And then I have a cosplay cover coming by the end of this month by someone on Twitter, and she's been busting her hump working on it. And she is so stoked. It's her first cover that she's ever done. So she's super, super excited about this as well. And, I just was getting ideas as I was doing this of what sells, what doesn't, what works. And I was like, I should do a cosplay cover. I'm like, how do I find one?
So it's literally going to be like a photograph of your cosplayer?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, she's doing the shoot this week. She has been working hard on getting everything and detailing it up. She's awesome. She is an absolute sweetheart to work with. She's absolutely fantastic. And she is ripped like nothing else.
No, definitely.
She is ripped personified, and I'm like, oh my god.
That's awesome.
And I messaged her. I was like, hey, have you ever done a comic book cover before? She's like, no. I'm like, you want to do one? She's like, okay.
Perfect. Well, definitely people in the community are going to be watching. I'll be watching to see how it all turns out. And I would love to hear your feedback.
That cover's going to be dropping soon. And then,
well, and part of the problem is like when you're running a campaign, you're going to be doing so much promotion. Like what I did this past time is I had my main Kickstarter campaign, and then I did a second chance campaign on Indiegogo. And my main campaign, I promoted the heck out of, and we did really well. This second campaign, the second on Indiegogo, I really haven't been promoting, and it hasn't done anything. But it's like by the time you get to the end of your campaign, you just get so burnt out on doing so many promotions. So you're going to be doing one round of promotions for all 3 campaigns. So I'm wondering,
it's going to be it's going to be a fun time.
We'll see. I'll be taking notes to see, exactly how it all plays out.
And then I have,
obviously we wish you the most success.
Then I've got special for people that sign up for the emails on all. I have if people sign up for the emails and back a physical copy of the book, everyone will get a free sticker, and each platform has its own exclusive sticker. And then I also have exclusive 6x9 mini prints for each platform too, for the first 50 buyers.
Wow. So what else are people getting? Because of course we can't look at the campaign yet because it's not active. So you'll have books available. What other like add-ons and cool things are going to be in this?
Sticker add-ons too, done by 3 different artists that they can add on. Other than that, it's just the books, and there's different bundles to get the books depending on what you want. The higher you go, the more of a discount you get. And then, like I said, if you get if you get every cover, you get a free exclusive She-Hulk 1 homage cover. That was really cool. I wish I could pull it up, but I don't want to click buttons because I'll lose everybody again.
You're like, the thing, it'll just blow up.
Yeah. Oh, it will. And then I'll crack my screen even more, and then we'll just be in trouble. But yeah, this.
Do you have stretch goals, foil covers? Like what? Wait, this is a 120-page book. Let's talk about. You're going to be printing with.
Comic Springs Wells.
Comics Wellspring. Are you going to be? Is it glue bound?
It has to be perfect bound because it's such a thick book. Because I called them up and I asked them, I'm like, saddle stitch. They're like, no, you have 120 pages.
No, not at 120. No.
So it is going to be a perfect bound book.
What size?
I would do foil covers, but they have a limit that you have to meet.
Minimum.
Yeah, and it has to be 25.
Yeah.
So with my first book, I don't want to end up like doing foil covers and 3 people order them and going, great, I got to eat 22 covers now.
Right.
So nothing special of that yet. Maybe on the second book, I'll do stuff like that. Yeah, no. And then I have tons of perks and 6x9 prints and tons of stickers by a whole bunch of various artists and commission people who I just like their work. And it was amazing. It's amazing. I contacted a lot of commission artists, and they wouldn't allow you to use their work for commercial use.
Really?
Yeah, they were like,
Why?
no, you can't use it for commercial use. It's for you and you only. You can't mass produce it or use it for your comic. I was like, okay, well then I can't hire you.
Right. What's the point of that?
That's what I need. So I did find that a little annoying and not understanding. I was like, but I'm paying you for the artwork. It's mine. I own it now. I'm like, I can understand it.
I should be able to do what I want. Yeah, that's the thing. Is like you got to be careful with some of the artists and their contracts, right?
Yeah. So, but I did find a lot of great artists that were more than willing, and everybody who I sent it to, or give them like a reference of the pose I wanted, and I would send them the character sheet. Almost all of them afterwards were like, dude, your character is so fun to draw. They're like, it's just so fun to draw, because I let artists do what they want. I really do. I say, here's the character sheet, here's the pose. You draw your style the way you want and what you want. I was like, I'm not telling you what to do.
I do the same.
Yeah.
Every now and again, I'll get hit with inspiration where I'll be like, can you do this? You know what I mean? But most of the time I'm like, can you read the script for this issue and find something that interests you and then do a cover on it?
Yeah.
Because I find they're much more passionate when it comes from in here. Like
for the Tim Vigil cover. And I still can't believe I got him. Like, because like I said, he doesn't do social media. He has his own website, and I went to it, and he had a link that said commission works, email me. And I'm like, I emailed him, and I was like acting like, a groupie with him. I'm like, I've grown up loving your work. I'm like, you are so amazing. And I was like, could you maybe do a cover for me for my first time crowdfunding book called Rogue? And I sent it to him. I was like, I'll never hear back from him. There's no way he's going to do a cover for a first timer indie guy. I was like, there's no way he's going to do it. And he emailed me back like 2 days later and was like, what's your book about? And let me see what your character looks like. And and I'm like, oh my God, I'm talking to Tim Vigil.
Right.
And I gave him the pitch, and I sent him a whole bunch of artwork that I have. He emailed me back. He's like, dude.
Oh, but it did last way longer than last time.
It did, right? I know, but it's just like right at the good part too. I was like,
Mhm.
no, I need to know.
All right.
So
So
you're a dude, and then it cut out.
So I sent him a whole bunch of artwork and gave him the pitch of the story, and he emailed me back. He's like, dude, your character's booty badass.
Right.
And I'm like, he goes, yeah, I'll do you a cover. I was like, okay. He's like, I'm gonna draw your character subduing another guy with her ass. I'm like, okay, you are Tim Vigil. I am not telling you what to do. No way.
Oh my god. I was just like, that's a person.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he gave me the cover, and then what was cool too was I got the original too.
Did you really?
I got
That's
the original.
amazing.
It's sitting up in my closet because I'm too afraid to take it out.
You got to get one of those like plastic shields for it. And
Oh
hang it.
yeah, and I was just like, my best friend came over and I showed it to him, and we're like sitting there staring at it like it's we're like, oh my god.
Yes. Can I touch it? Don't touch it.
Yeah, I was like, don't touch it.
Oh,
touching.
Lord.
But yeah, I can't believe. And well, the funniest thing was that he was so laid back about it. I was like, dude, thank you so much for doing this. I'm like, I grew up loving your artwork and just trying to find your books. I was like, oh my god. He was like, yeah. Okay.
I know.
was-
As most artists are, they're like, yeah, it's all right. I don't know about you, Kitty, but Marco, my artist, he's always like, it's all right. And I'm like, this is amazing. And he's just like, I can make some changes. I'm like, stop touching it. Perfect.
Oh, honestly, like hearing when Dave tells stories, what people tell him about the characters,
Yeah.
I always feel so humbled because I mean, like I designed that, and I'm like, oh, it's so nice that people want to draw that actually.
Right.
So
yeah,
I would say I'm pretty
Your
laid back
art
like that.
is so cool.
Yes,
This
it's the best thing ever. Basically, it's the whole reason why I'm
Stop
doing this
touching
whole
it.
shtick. Don't touch my stuff.
I'm talking to you because a lot of times
Aw.
artists are like, oh, it is, and then time will go by. And see, this is something I wanted to ask you, Kitty, because with a book that's so long, and artists, they're always evolving their art. So you will, by the time you get to the end of the book, your art style might be different from the beginning of the book.
That already happened.
You know what I mean? So then,
Like there is. Oh, sorry. Continue.
no, go
please.
ahead. What were you gonna say?
There is like from the initial character sheet that I made for Rogue. I made like just a little piece that I wanted to do for myself a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And when I finished that, I was like, damn, my art style changed in the past 6 months.
yeah,
Because it looked completely different to I mean, not the design itself, but like just the way things are drawn, like the
Right.
hair, for example, and stuff
Right.
like that.
Right. Because with anything, as you continually work on your craft, it's going to improve. So then what do, Dave? Do you make and go back and do pages that are in the beginning, or is it done?
no, I once the page is done,
If he pays me double, I would do it.
That's what I was waiting for. Like, if you double my pay, you pay me again, I'll do it again.
well,
Yeah.
Well, what was nice was that he did all 120 page layouts, really rough draft, and we did one final sit down and we went through all the panels together because he was like, I can change them now because they're rough drafts. He's like, once
Right.
they're done. He's like, so, and I have ADHD, so I'll remember something 3 weeks later. I'm like, oh right, by the way, I wanted to do this.
Kitty's like, I will kill you. I will kill you.
I will find you.
I will find you.
I'll go to wherever you are.
Right.
I
will
know
find
your-
you in America.
I know your time zone. That's good enough to pinpoint where you live.
You're on the East Coast somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, that has been one of the challenges. Like everybody I know who works on this project is like in a totally different time zone.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly like messaging people, and they're like, "Dude, it's 3 a.m. over here. What do you want?" I'm like, "Oh, sorry, it's mid-afternoon."
I know. My colorist is in San Marino, so I'm always like, "Oh, and this," and she's like, "Laurie." I'm like, "Sorry."
Yeah. I'm like,
And
yeah,
she
we
gets
had.
right back to me. She'll send me a message, and it's 5 a.m., and I'm like, "Huh?"
Yeah. Well, luckily I work the graveyard shift, so like I'll message him at like 3 a.m. for my time. But then when I have off, he'll message me, and I'll wake up and there's like 15 messages. I'm like, dude, sleeping. What do you want?
Oh, but you also texted me sometimes like, okay, yeah, what did you do today yet? And like, I just woke up. I didn't do anything.
I literally rolled out of bed. What do
He's
you
like,
want?
I'll message him like mid after. I'm like, oh hey, what did we get done today? He's like, well, I had coffee and just woke up. I'll let you know when I get going on some stuff.
Sorry.
I'm like, oh, sorry, dude. I'll talk to you later.
Right, I'll check in on you later. Sorry.
Yeah, that's
How
most of
many
the
pages are
communication.
done in Rogue so far?
I'm sorry, what?
Like,
I was gonna say,
how
let's
many are
recap.
done?
Like, how many pages have been done so far?
You're
so
up to,
done in the sense that the only thing I have to do is lettering.
Right.
Pretty much exactly 60 pages.
So you have,
A bit less. I aim to be at the number of 60 by the end of May. So in a week.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so like I said, the main thing is, and I went over this with Kitty. I was like, as a first time creator, I don't want people to be worried. Like, so am I going to get the book, or am I going to be waiting 3 years for the book, or am I not even going to ever get the book?
Well, that will definitely help if you show interior pages and be like, we are such percent, if we're 90% done, that will help because people will understand like it's coming out.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm still waiting on,
whatever you want it or not, it's happening.
Yeah, right. I mean, like I'm still waiting on certain books that I've bought on from the crowdfunders. I'm still waiting on certain books like 5 years later. I'm like,
that's too long.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, am I ever getting this thing? I'm like, what's going on?
Right. At
like,
5 years, I think you give up hope.
Yeah, and then eventually you just give up hope, and you're like, okay, well, I guess I'm not backing book 2 if it ever comes out again. I'm like,
right.
So that was my main thing, especially as a first time creator. I don't want people worried that someone that they're going to be waiting forever for this book. We have a projected, so
when is it projected, Kitty? When is it projected for, Kitty?
July 26th.
So okay, so when it launches, you're hoping to be done?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Gotcha.
Like my timetable, so to speak, is be done with 50% by the end of May, be done with most, if not all of it, by the end of June, so that or let's say middle of June, so that I at least have 1 whole month to maybe make some corrections here and there, do all the lettering, because I do all of it by myself.
Mm-hmm.
So
I was gonna hire a letterist, and then he was just like, I'll do the lettering. I was like, you sure? I was like, I don't want to overwhelm you and give you too much stuff. He's like, no, I'll do it. And I was like, okay. I was like, so and I thought about it too, and it makes more sense. I was like, this way I don't have to worry about you submitting work to a letterist and them bringing it back to you and going, yeah, dude, you didn't leave me enough room. I can't fit it all. Like, oh crap, now we got to redo a page.
Right.
So
right.
I'm glad that he is doing it, because I always figure, less hands that touch it, the better.
There's pros and cons, and it's like that's something that every team needs to figure out. It's like, because you can go faster when there's more people working. So like with my project, it was myself and Marco, and that was it. Like Marco did the pencils, ink, color, and I did the letters, and then it would go to our editor. but now it's like he does pencils and ink, and then it goes to Marta, who colors. So she's working on, he turns in like 4 pages at a time, 3, 4, 5, depending on how many he gets through. And then they immediately go to Marta, and she can start coloring, and I can start lettering. So we can go a little faster when there's a separate colorist instead of Marco going through and then having to go back and color. But again, then there's more people touching it, and right. And anytime there's more people, then there's more room for mistakes, et cetera, et cetera.
And you know, lost emails or corrupted files or something happening, and then it's like, oh, I gotta resend it again.
Right. So I mean, there's pros and cons to both.
Yeah.
So it just depends, you know, and you want to make sure the right people are in your team as well. And it sounds like you have the right people in your team.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I have a great team. Sims Harry, he did all the coloring, except for Kitty's covers. He did all the coloring for all the covers. And he's awesome to work with. And you know what I love about everybody that has worked on this project is everybody gives me updates. Like they'll start coloring it and then like check with me to make sure there's no changes. How's it going? Like nobody who has worked on this project with me just looks at it as a paycheck. Everybody has put in like huge dedication and like really hard work into this. And then the other really cool thing that we have going on with this project too is that on Fund My Comics, I teamed up with the creator of Melvin, who's working on book 3, I believe, of his book. And we teamed up together, and we're going to be running a special promo where if you back a physical copy of my book and a physical copy of his book, you're going to get a free 6x9 homage cover of Captain America Annual 8 of Wolverine versus Captain America. And it's going to be Rogue fighting Melvin.
Cool.
I think, Kitty, you have that cover. You have that because you did it, right?
I have that cover. Yeah, I did it.
Cool.
Yeah.
I did that. Yeah, because you mentioned the colors, like especially when it's a single piece, I always treat it like that's my baby. Like no one is touching that. I mean, I have done projects where I have done colors for someone else or vice versa.
Right.
Which was also fun. But if I get presented the option, I always just like to do a thing 100% for myself. Also because I would still consider myself not necessarily a beginner, but still in the early stages of my development as an artist. So I just want to do everything to get better at
more
everything.
Experience, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But I have that attitude is for myself as well for my project. If I'm doing it myself, I know it's done right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But it was also funny because you know, I was getting perks done by other commission artists and things like that, and then he messaged me and he's like, "Hey, I want to do a sticker. I want to do a perk." And I'm like, "Dude, you're doing the whole book." I'm like, I'm like, what else do you want? And he's like, well, I want to do a perk. And he's just like, I'm like, okay, you could do a perk if you want. It's fine.
Right. That's fine.
I did do the perk. Plural. Do you have it, or shall I send it to you?
What the Rogue versus Melvin one? It should be on my feed somewhere.
See if I can find it.
If not, I can drop it over. I have my software in front of me.
Yeah, and that's going to be exclusively on Fund My Comic.
Yeah. And there was also one.
I messaged him and I'm like, hey.
Yeah, continue. Sorry. Or is he? No, he's just gone. There are also 2 that I just were like I found poses as a reference that I just wanted to try out, which eventually turned into perks, basically.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I can show you if you wanna.
Yeah. Is it on? I'm just scrolling on Dave's Twitter, and people.
It should be on Dave's Twitter, but.
Sorry about that, everybody. That's a little explicit. If you are interested in following.
Oh
this
yeah.
project.
The one with the 4 pictures. The one on the top right
With the baseball bat.
with the baseball bat with her butt in front.
Hold on. Where did I miss?
This one right here.
Yeah, if you scroll down, there's 4 pictures.
This one.
Yep, and he did the one with the baseball bat, where it
On the
says
top
batter
right.
up.
I was gonna say I don't see a baseball bat, but there it is.
There's that one, and then the
No, the one to the next one.
next
That
one.
was the one that I did.
Yeah, that's the one. That's
This
the
one.
Better up, motherfucker. And then of course the Wolverine homage.
Yeah.
Oh, so nice.
Yeah, everything came out so beautifully. I was just like blown away from it. And then I also have a New Mutants homage cover that I got done by Mike, who did USA Assassin.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a if you scroll back up,
Is this your cosplayer?
that's my cosplayer.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Yeah, she is
nice.
awesome to work with. And then the next one, that's
Yes.
that's going to be an exclusive cover on Fund My Comics.
All right.
And then I think the next one should be and that's the Mike cover that he did for me.
Cool.
That's the
Cool.
cover.
And for people who are watching, this is Dave's Twitter, and this is where you should go to follow this project. Here he is. It's at Dave8489145. My goodness. I'm just going to copy that.
Oh, yeah. My Twitter name. Everybody was like, oh, you should change your Twitter name to make it more. I'm like, yeah, kind of too late for that now. I just signed up.
Let's see. I can make a banner real quick. Here goes. Add banner. Show banner. Here we go. That's Dave's Twitter. So definitely follow Dave on Twitter to get, because if you back, you can always get updates from the crowdfunding as it's going. So you'll get like Kickstarter updates or Fund My Comic updates. But if you just, if you're on one and not the other, this is probably the best place to go to get updates about Rogue and everything that these guys are working on. Kitty also has a Twitter. You want me to pull it up for you, sir?
Oh, yes, please.
Yes, please. He says, give me 1 second to get there. I'm going to remove that.
It should be linked in some of the tweets. So
oh, I'm sure.
But
yeah, I can pull it up real quick.
But yeah, my cosplayer, she is just awesome, and she's such a sweetheart. She really is. It was funny because I knew I was doing this show, and I messaged her, and I was like, "Hey, I know I told you I didn't need the picture until July."
You did not.
And I was like, is there any chance I could have it, by this weekend so I could show it on the show? And she was like, "Oh, I was like, listen, I know I told you July." I was like, "So it's no biggie if you can't." And she was like, "No, I have other shoots booked right now, and I'm really busy." And she's like, "Plus, I was bulking up during the winter time, and I kind of lost my 6-pack. So I want to put on more. I want to get more tone for your picture." I was like, "Okay." I'm like, okay. I'm like, "You look fine, but okay."
Here is Kittykus's handle for his Twitter. Feel free to follow.
Feel free.
See a ton of his art, which is awesome for those of you that are, because some people are like, follow me and Dave where you get the lowdown and the marketing, and other people want to just follow for the art. So wherever you want to be, I would say just follow both, and then you can get both sides. You can see behind the scenes art. Like look at this. Amazing to see close-ups of what's going on, which you only be able to get those here, of course. And then, follow Dave so that way you can make sure you're in the know of production and when things are launching and all the different exclusives. That's really, the best thing to do. Just amazing.
Yeah, like I said, I post. Oh, there it is.
This one? Ah!
Yeah. Yeah, if you back a physical copy of my book and a physical copy of Melvin, you'll get that in a 6x9 print for free.
Cool. What's Melvin?
Yeah, can't speak.
Post-apocalyptic. And then he froze.
And then he froze. Oh, that cover is really neat because it's the first time I used chromatic aberration on a piece.
Cool.
Mhm. And actually the only time, because I haven't. This was the last time I did a full single piece. Ever since I finished that, I've only been drawing pages.
Wow.
So I hadn't had the opportunity to experiment with that yet. But
Yeah.
I will use it more in the future because it's fun. Oh yeah, and this one, the sketch from the what's it called? Frosh Eye View. No, a bit further up. This one, this sketch right here. This was just like I found that pose in another comic somewhere, and I was like, I wanna try that.
That's cool. A motorcycle.
Yeah. Yeah, he was always best for me. He's like, "Oh, I found this really cool pose I want to do." I'm like, "Okay, dude, just do what you want."
Right. Have fun with it, right?
Definitely.
So yep, there's these guys' Twitters. Make sure you follow. When this actually goes live, we will have the link for you guys to sign up for pre-launch. So you can click on that and hit that green button on Kickstarter or on either, crowdfunding platform to make sure that you are notified upon launch. That sounds really cool that you can back on different platforms and get, different exclusives, which is cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as a backer myself, and I don't know, this is just me, I hate filling out forms. So
yeah,
like if you're already signed up for one platform, it's like, people don't like filling out all those forms and adding credit cards and doing all that stuff, and they usually stick with that one platform that they have. So I decided to use all three and really just see which one works the best.
Yeah, and honestly, you'll find out what works for you guys. It's really going to be, I don't know. I just had an interview earlier this week, and the creator there was just like, you just kind of have to play around with it to figure out what works best for your audience.
Yeah,
because your audience might like my main audience is Kickstarter backers. Just because that's where I started and that's what I've been cultivating. And I tried to cultivate the Indiegogo people, and they were just like, "Who are you? What are you? We don't care." So maybe not so much.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll be honest, I actually like Kickstarter better because they have the app, and their searching is way more easier.
Search is easier. Yeah.
Yeah, you could just click on the app.
Come across your project organically on Kickstarter.
Yeah,
I have not run a fund my comic yet. I've heard really good things about that, so I'd be interested to try. I'll be watching how your success is there, of course. So hopefully, because I think they will actually help promote your project as well.
Yeah, because Luke has his own stream, and he does. He streams books that need the extra help. He also says that he will draw on his live stream and of characters from books on the platform, and they're free for the creators to have.
Cool.
So that's really cool that it was created by someone who's like, no, this is the kind of stuff that we need, and this is the stuff that really will help. So that is really, really cool. I was really excited when he announced that he was going to be doing that, and I was definitely signed up right away. Now I don't know if it's just me, but I just got done filling out the page for Fund My Comics. Man, that was a nightmare.
I haven't done it, so I can't relate.
I mean,
I've only done Kickstarter and Indiegogo.
I mean, it was just making sure, you had to link everything and this and that. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to punch my phone.
Just wait till you make a web page.
Oh,
that's like the bane of my existence.
I'm hiring people next one. I'm not doing this again.
Oh man. running a web page is difficult, people. And like, I feel like I do an okay job and like it has everything there that it needs to be, but still it's every time I'm like, oh, I'm running a Kickstarter, people are like, oh, where can I go? I'm like, you can go to my web page, but I don't know. like there's a blog there nobody reads. I'm like, I put information up there. It might be current. It's probably not. You know what I mean? So it's like, meh. Find my social media, follow me on Facebook. That's probably the better one. Like pick one that's your like main landing place. Since for you guys,
pick your poison.
Yeah, pick your poison, right? But it's like you kind of have to. You're kind of forced at this point to participate in all of them, just so you can have a market everywhere.
Yeah.
But usually you have like a landing spot that's your home base.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like I've heard the bad things about Indiegogo, about how they shadow ban certain books, and it's so overfilled with artists and creative books that like small people like me, I feel like wouldn't get noticed on there.
I didn't get noticed on there. But again, I think that you have to really search for a creator in order for them to find you on Indiegogo. It's not like Kickstarter where they have like a suggestion, like
Right.
for you liked this one, you might like this one.
Right, and they also have the section where you can just click on comics and click on new, and it'll tell you all the new books that came out within the last like 2 weeks.
Or they have like the magic category, the comic we love, or project we love, and then we have like ending soon. You know what I mean? They have all those different categories on Facebook.
Where Indiegogo, it's you log into comics and it's like, yep, here they all are. They're in no order whatsoever.
Right.
And in fact, we still have campaigns up that are ended, but we're still going to have them up.
I haven't had anybody find me organically on Indiegogo. The people that have backed my Second Chance campaign, I did like 3 interviews, and that was it. And that I got backers from those 3 interviews, and that's it. So I'm telling you what, those people are getting super exclusive covers, super exclusive, like 1 of 6. Amazing. I want one.
I try to do as many. I know, being a 90s fan of comics, I'm sure you grew up in it too, where it was a variant cover. Even though I have 5 versions of that book, I'm buying it anyway because it's a new cover.
Depend on the cover.
Right. I mean,
I'm probably better than most. My husband's the collector, so when there's variants of anything, he collects all that stuff.
Yeah,
sometimes I look at him like he's crazy, but it's a thing.
Yeah, I mean, like
I can relate to being a collector, definitely.
I mean, I think the
best. I like to buy merchandising specifically, and when Dave, once he was like, okay, I may be able to get this piece here 3D printed as a figurine, I was like, I want one.
Yeah, I was actually even talking to a person who prints 3D models, and I was like, I gotta get one of these.
Right. Well, I mean, like I have a 3D printer, so I'm actually getting the STL files, and then I can print as many as I want.
Nice. Yeah, that's a really big thing now too with the making the 3D models. That's become really huge.
Yep.
A lot of people are doing that, and then the Funko Pops. I've seen people make their own toys, and I'm like,
oh my gosh, I wish I had mine. I'm getting a creator version of the Undead Bear Funko Pop. I have the Jude St. Clair one. I kind of showed you guys. This is my main guy, my cowboy from my series, but the Undead Bear has been made, and it's like I sent one to one of my backers. She got the very first one. I get the second one.
Nice.
So I'm waiting for mine to come in because, of course, mine isn't as important as hers is when she backs the project. So she already has hers, and it's amazing. So I can't wait for that. And then she's getting the new one too. So it's like these are so cool, but oh man, they're expensive. And that's one of the things as a new creator. I was talking to this lady named Madeline Holly Rosing on my show, and she is 10 years into this journey, right? So I'm maybe a year in, and you guys are just starting. So my question to her was, how do I get from where I am to where you are? Because she does like 20K on a Kickstarter, right?
Yeah, I've seen the people that do that. That's like, who don't even need to do a show. They're like, I got Kickstarter and I made my goal in one day.
She's still promoting. She's still on shows, and she does all the hard work, just like we're doing. She does all of it. And that was my question is, okay, so I'm here and you're there. What got you from me to you, you know? And she said, honestly, it's time. It's
Yeah.
time to, you know, you got to put in the work. You do all shows. You've got to build your audience. And the longer you do it, you accumulate views, you build your audience, and you go from there. And she's like, my other suggestion is don't spend all your money on merch. Make it about the book. She's like, because when you Kickstarter and you get those funds and you have to buy a bunch of merch with those funds, guess what? You got less to pay your artist with. And I was like, I should rethink my campaign.
Yeah.
Like t-shirts and keychains and stickers and blah, blah, and Funko Pops. And I was just like,
Yeah.
I did the thing, Madeline.
Yeah. I actually was talking with Elon about that.
Yeah.
About doing perks and stuff. And I was like, oh, I want to do a Funko Pops and I want to do, maybe I'll do t-shirts and I'll do this. And he's like, yeah. He goes, remember, that's going to add a lot to your shipping. And he goes, and you got to get bigger boxes, and that's going to weigh more. That's going to change the price of your shipping. I was like, oh, yeah. I forgot that.
If you get a single t-shirt, it actually will go in a Gemini mailer. You can have it folded to the exact same size as the comic book. So if they get like a comic book or two and a t-shirt, I can put all of that into a Gemini mailer, which works. However, if they're getting like a hot sauce, I got to go to a bigger box.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If the Funko Pops are another story. But again, the more expensive tiers, there's not that many.
Yeah.
You know, and people aren't all spending that high dollar amount. So I got maybe like a handful of people that I got to get bigger boxes, but most of them are like Gemini mailers, and that works out. So
yeah, I figure I'll save that stuff for like if it goes to book 2 or when I go to book 2. You know, I keep telling everybody, oh, if I make my money back, I'm gonna do book 2. And my best friend, who we've been friends since I was 16, was like, you're doing a second book whether you make your money back or not, aren't you? I'm like, yeah, I am, dude. I don't care.
I mean, honestly, it's like when you're too damn stubborn to quit.
Oh yeah, I'm just like, well, what was it? Even Kitty was saying to me before, because like I said, I've been trying and messaging people to try to get on shows, and people have canceled on me at the last minute. Some don't even answer me. And, you know, Kitty messaged me. He's like, you know, he goes, I really admire your dedication to this. And, you know, it's really just watching you, you know, keeping at this and being dedicated to this project. He's like, it's so inspiring. I'm like, I call it being stubborn, but yeah, whatever. Same difference.
I mean, it's being part of the journey. And in the beginning, it sucks. But embrace the suck. You know what I mean? It's like, enjoy the journey, because someday when you're successful, you can look back and be like, I did that. I put up with all that.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
I slogged through it. And then when you see that new creator come up and they're like, God, I just want to quit. You can be like, don't quit. It's part of the suck. Embrace the suck.
Oh yeah. I mean, like I honestly have had a awesome time doing this whole project. Like it literally has been fun. Just working with people and getting advice from people and just meeting other creators who are on book 3 who I buy all 3 books from, and they're like, they'll message me and I'm like, oh my God, I'm talking to you. I'm like, wow, thank you. They're like, yeah, dude, chill out.
Well, it's a pretty chill community for the most part. Everybody kind of understands that we all stick together. And then, you know, I have found that people are so generous with information to help others succeed. I've had some really influential people help me or be influential to my campaign just because they were 100% open with information. Like, how do I do a survey? How can I tell me about international shipping? You know,
yeah, that was the one thing I asked a lot of questions about.
International shipping is a bitch.
Yeah, because I had people tell, because I've heard the horror stories of campaigns who were like, yeah, I went broke because I didn't add international shipping. And
right. Or what is VAT's tax? Or, you know what I mean? Like, I've never fulfilled before, you know, where can I get postage online to help save a buck? You know, any kind of suggestions on packaging, anything, you know, customer retention. So it's like we as a community are always bouncing ideas off of each other to help each other succeed. So I think, you know, you have now been welcomed into the community. You are now welcome into the madness. So you can join our groups and follow. You know, we have a ton of shows that if you're interested on being on, we have 40 shows that go on all week. So you can definitely get in touch with, all the hosts from the Madness and come on shows. We have a ton of shows at different times.
I've met just some awesome other creators who are just like, who will just message me and be like, oh, you should try this, and oh, don't do this because it's a nightmare. And they're like, trust me, I know. I'm like, got it, don't do that.
Right. And just remember, as you're running a campaign, it's emotionally taxing. It's definitely anxiety inducing, and you're going to see a lot of things thrown at you. I would like to share a video with you that I put together that kind of gives you the feeling of what it's like to run a campaign. And here you go.
Nose and lips. Okay. Ow. Can I? Ow! 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 Wait! Ow! 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 Please, Mr. Oh!
Yeah.
That perfectly describes the feeling of trying to establish yourself as a freelance artist.
Yeah, no, that's I mean, we just ran into that problem last weekend. We booked on someone's show like 3 weeks in advance. We were sending him, he put us all in a group chat. He was like, oh, I need everybody's emails and so I can send you the links and logos you want, send me your artwork, send me this, send me that. And I invited everybody who was part of this. I invited Kitty, I invited Elon, I invited Chris, I invited my cosplayers, I invited people who were doing the perks for me. I was like, if you want to stop in and say hi, you're more than welcome to. I was like, everybody who's worked on this book can share in this. I was like, because everybody's done a great job. And then literally like 2 days before we were ready to go, he was like, I'm not going to do your book.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, that was.
It's disappointing.
No, but that was extremely disappointing.
Yeah, he was like literally
Was
sorry,
just like,
cut out.
Shit. I mean, my mindset when it comes to things like that is, okay, fuck it. I'll still continue doing my thing, I guess. Because no point in quitting at all.
Like the most
It's
BS excuse of why he.
It happens. I've been canceled on a bunch too and rescheduled and it's an unfortunate part of just pushing along. I always take solace in this. The guy that wrote the script for Squid Games, amazing script, right? Huge numbers on Netflix. Just an amazing show, made tons of money. He was turned down 13 times on his script.
Really?
Yeah. And it wasn't until after that last time he pitched it, he finally got some eyes on his project. So it just takes one person watching at one time. So we're going to get a lot of no's. I've pitched to all the major production, production companies, the publishers as well, and have heard nothing, which also counts as a no. So, I mean, it's part of it, right? So keep your head high. Just know that, over time, you're going to get views and you're going to build your audience and it's going to get out there. Be too stubborn to quit.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. I mean,
exactly.
I have seen even on my Twitter feed that like when I first started posting pictures and announcing I was going to do this, like I would get like one like, and it was mine, it was my one. It was mine and Kitty's like, that was it,
Right.
Okay. This is not going good here. But
if you keep going, then people will take notice at some point.
Yeah, it's about the grind. It is.
Exactly.
And now, like I'm posting pictures, posting more interior pages, and now I'm in like the double digits of likes, get 4 or 5 retweets by people who have like double the amount of followers that I do.
I know. Carissa, can you retweet my stuff all the time, right?
Yeah. I'm like, thank you for the retweet.
Yeah. I was like, because you have like 2,000 followers and I have like 200 followers on Twitter.
Yeah. I'm like, I have 1,000 and probably about like half of them are bots.
Oh yeah, like I have around 800, and I think the last 5 people, quote unquote, that followed me are all bots. But I stopped removing them because it was just too much of a hassle.
Right.
But it's
Yeah,
also I remember I want to tell that story because the moment when we got the message that thing was gonna be canceled on the weekend, I was at a party because I work as a sound technician on the side, and we were booked for a like huge, let's call it a rich people party, like ludicrous amounts of money.
Yeah.
And I got the message and was like, I'm bummed out now. And then the woman who hired us, she saw me and was like, hey, is everything okay? And I told her what happened. Yeah, we got booked for a podcast. I work as an artist on the side. I try to establish myself. And she was like, okay, yeah, what do you draw? And we got into the conversation. And it ended up with, hey, my son loves manga. Do you want to teach him some stuff?
Yes.
Yes. Not before July 26th, but yes.
Right. It's weird. You're going to find people all over. And as long as you talk about it, people will latch on and start following your project. My dentist follows me.
Nice.
Like, so, I mean, as long as you're talking, you don't know what people are into. And if they love comics, a lot of times it doesn't come out. Like, I'm pretty
that is true.
obvious nerddom. But when I put on like dress clothes and I'm out with like the ladies in the neighborhood who know nothing about comics, they're, and they're like, what do you do? And I'm like, well, I read comic books. And they're like, you do what? You know what I mean? So you never know.
Yeah, no, it's weird. Like, I mean, like I grew up in the 90s where it was like, being a comic book fan, you had to keep it quiet. You couldn't talk about it in public. It's like, I collect comics, you couldn't say it anywhere, but nowadays it's like everybody does. And it's like I've done the same thing. Even at like I worked the graveyard shift at a direct mailing factory with a bunch of 40-year-old, 50-year-old divorced guys, and
no, I'm sure they love comics.
And I was like, oh, I'm writing my own comic book, and they were like, oh, cool, my kid likes comics. He's like, yeah, send me the link when it goes up, and tell me more about it. And they come up and ask, like, oh, how's the book coming along? I'm like, wait, serious?
Right. You'll get the most random people that will follow up. You know what though, guys, we got to start wrapping it up because the time is running out. Thank you so much for coming on. I really enjoyed having the both of you on. It looks like Kittykus is away from the keyboard.
No, I'm back. Don't worry.
Oh, you're good. Okay.
Thank you for having us on.
Follow you guys.
It really means a lot to me. It really does.
Absolutely. And you guys are welcome on the show whenever. And I would love to chat with you more about the things that you have planned.
That would be very lovely.
Yeah.
Yes, most definitely. This was awesome and a lot of fun.
So please follow these guys on Twitter. When this show is airing and you guys are watching, the link will be live for you to sign up for pre-launch. Again, the name of the book is Road, the American Dream, correct?
Correct.
So
don't get it confused with the X-Men character because some people do.
Completely different. She's more kick-ass.
We had complaints about that. Most of the time.
We're like, oh, isn't that from the comic book? And I'm like, no, I don't work for Marvel.
Yeah. She's really different. So don't worry, guys. There won't be any confusion.
Perfect.
But again, thank you so much, everybody. I hope I'm having a great time in Michigan. I'm sure I am with this airs. And I look forward to seeing more of these two. And you can see me next week when we come back. And I will be live here on the Tuesday Morning Brew. What's that?
Thank you very much. So
thank you so much.
So much appreciated.
And again, don't forget to check out this comic because it's kick-ass. So I'm going to stick everybody in the back and I'll play some more ads and we'll say goodbye. Say goodbye. Say goodbye, David.
Bye, everybody.
Say goodbye.
Kitty. Bye.
And goodbye, everybody. We love you.
Comic Books for Kids provides comic books to kids in hospitals and cancer centers across the U.S. It's a place where we can all work together to make sure every child has a comic book. 100% of all proceeds go towards the kids. It's about making a difference, and while they're in the hospital, allowing them to fly like a superhero, battle dragons, or rescue teddy bears. We are in every state in the country and now support over 160 hospitals. Every month, we